Hello and welcome to Hot Tea with Holly. I'm Holly, and I'd like to say I'm having a cup of hot tea, but guess what? I completely forgot to bring a cup of hot tea today, you guys. It cracks me up. There's a good reason for it. It has been a very busy couple of days, and I have already over caffeinated today. I had a cup of tea about an hour and a half ago, and I was rushing to get ready for today's live segment, and I completely forgot to bring my cup of tea. Can you believe it? That is not like me, but it is December and there's a lot going on. So welcome. How are you? If you're watching this in playback, welcome. I'm Holly Perkins. I help you use strength training and intentional nutrition to help you build the body that you need to keep up with the life that you love. And I am here every Tuesday for a hot cup of tea. Today, it's a big bottle of water instead of a hot cup of tea, but I hope that you are having a hot beverage or maybe some iced tea or even some water. And if so, please share what you are having today. Welcome, Hot Tea with Holly. I am live here every Tuesday, 1 o'clock on the East Coast on my Holly Perkins Fitness page on Facebook. So if you ever want to join me live, come on over and join us on Facebook every Tuesday. It's a great opportunity for us to connect. I always have a valuable and relevant topic, and I am here to answer your questions if you have any of them. This is one of the ways that I love to show up every week and provide free content. I really love sharing my love of fitness and nutrition and sharing the education that I have. And I'm here to answer your questions every Tuesday. It is December. It is the first week of December. Actually, it is now the second week of December as we are filming this. We're rolling into the holidays. And so today I'm sharing with you my top nutrition tips to help you navigate the holidays so that you can enjoy and feel successful without feeling that guilt or that sense that you need to catch up or make up for any overindulgences during the holidays, because I want you to roll into the new year feeling good and feeling at the top of your A game and feeling really good about your choices and your decisions throughout the holidays. Now, we all know that most people arrive in the new year having gained a few pounds. That's super common, I think, for the vast majority of people. And the reason for that is the holidays or the end of the year brings such a sense of celebration. And some of us love this time of year. And I think alongside of that is this intention to enjoy and celebrate. And I think around the world, in most cultures, not just here in America, but I think celebration and holidays is always tied to food. There is this, from my knowledge of other holidays around the world and in different cultures and different religions and different countries, most of the time, big events and celebrations revolve around food. And I think part of that is we all enjoy it so much. It's a special time of year. It's a special event. And so it feels special to have special foods. And I want you to be able to enjoy that. And guess what? You can. You can absolutely enjoy special occasions. You can indulge a bit, and you can walk away feeling awesome the next day and the next day, and as you roll into the next month. So today I'm going to share with you my top powerful nutrition tips. And if you apply these for the rest of this month, you're going to roll into the new year not feeling like you need New Year's resolutions, but instead, you're going to wake up on New Year's Day feeling so proud of yourself, feeling so accomplished, and so ready to take on the world. Can you imagine if you rolled into the new year and not feel remorseful or not feel like, oh, I got to catch up, or not feel like New Year's resolutions, I'm going to do it this time? Wouldn't that be wonderful instead? to wake up on New Year's Day and say, okay, let's roll. I am already in an awesome place, and I am so excited to take it to the next level rather than feeling guilty or remorseful or regretful or ugh or yucky or puffy or fluffy or constipated, right? You should feel great, and it is possible. Now, the first thing I want to share with you today, which is powerful, so grab your notebook, write this down, because this is a hot tip that's going to change your life. And guess what? It took me about 25 years being in the fitness industry to figure this ish out. Here's the secret. A lot of women, certainly the clients that I have worked with, believe that in order to achieve their better body, whatever that is, if that is more muscle, if that is becoming leaner so that a higher percentage of you is lean muscle mass, maybe for some of you, it is important to achieve a lower body weight on the scale. Whatever your goals are to improve this beautiful body that you already have, many women think that it requires deprivation, hunger and starvation, and the complete absence of pleasurable foods. And guess what? It doesn't. It's hard to believe. I know. I resisted it for years. For years, I thought that in order to get the body that I wanted, that I could never touch sugar, that I could never touch a donut, that I could never have whole milk in my latte, that I had to eat boiled chicken and steamed broccoli and brown rice for every single meal. And God forbid, don't you eat any fruit. And I used to believe that until I reached what's called the muscle tipping point. This is a blog that was just published today on my website, hollyperkins.com/blog, the muscle tipping point. You need to know what it is, because once you reach the muscle tipping point, achieving all of your goals in your body gets so much easier going forward. It's a piece of cake. If you want to lose weight, if you want to get lean, once you understand the muscle tipping point, it gets so easy. And the truth is, I used to believe for years and years and years and years that I had to be super strict in order to get the body that I wanted. It's actually not true. And most of the time, in my experience over 30 years of coaching women, I have found that extreme restriction or extreme measures usually backfire in one way, shape, or another. If you're doing something that is so outside of your normal preferences, your normal habits, your normal behaviors, chances are it's going to be really hard to stick with it. And so that it backfires in one way, shape, or another. The real secret is this. In order to improve your body, in whatever way or manner that means for you, it's simply a function of improving your habits over time so that you can stick with them, so that you can build them on top of each other, so that you feel that these behaviors that keep you in check are no longer extreme or special behaviors. This is just what your life is. It's like brushing your teeth, washing your face, washing your hair. These are things you just do. You don't really need to think about them. And sure, every now and then we skip on these things. Some of us don't wash our hair very often. And some of us sometimes forget to brush our teeth. It happens, right? And so every now and then, no big deal, but you're a lot more inclined to do these things. That's because it's just part of your behavior. And the truth is, once you've adopted behaviors that help you move towards the body that you want, it's a whole lot easier to stay on track. And so the real truth here is, even as you're going into the holidays, a successful holiday season or a successful special event doesn't mean you walked away with having no alcohol, no sugar, no dessert, or, no pigs in a blanket or fried cheese, whatever it may be, right? Success does not mean abstinence of indulgent foods. You can enjoy and indulge a bit and reach your goals. Now, there's a catch. There are some parameters here. There are some boundaries. It's true. If you show up to your next celebration or your next event and you overindulge and you have more alcohol than you know is really ideal for your body, or if you have a little too many sweets beyond the normal intake, it's true. You're going to feel it the next day. And doing that one too many times during the month of December often does lead to weight gain. And even if it doesn't lead to weight gain on the scale, it does tend to lead to you not feeling so great on January 1st. So there are boundaries and parameters here in terms of staying on track so that you are moving towards your goals and so that you can indulge, you can enjoy these things, but also feel good about your progress. That is what we are talking about here today. If you are here with me live, please say hello. I'd love to know who's with me. If you're having a hot cup of tea or a cup of coffee, whether it's herbal or caffeinated, share it with me and let me know, what is your beverage of choice today? Now, I will reveal what I've already had today. It's 1:00 here on the East Coast. And I woke up, I just got a new shipment of Japanese sencha from Harney and Sons. Those of you guys that know me know that's my favorite Japanese green tea. Green tea in general, I tend to be preferential to Japanese green teas. I don't love Chinese green teas as much. Love Japanese sencha. And so yesterday I got a nice big shipment from my friends at Harney and Sons. Thank you. This is not a paid advertisement. Harney and Sons has no idea who Holly Perkins is. It's a crime, I know. So this morning I started with a cup of Japanese sencha. It was so good. The days that I start my day off with a really strong cup of green tea are the days I feel my best. It puts me in an awesome mood. I just feel good. I worked this morning. I got a lot of work done. And then I shifted gears and I had PG tips with a little bit of maple syrup. And then I've had a very busy morning. We had family in town. We were visiting this morning as well. And I was just off my schedule. And so at about 11 or 11:30, I had another big cup of black tea. And so by the time I got here to 1:00, I forgot. I've already had 3 cups of tea today. And I was like, totally forgot to bring my hot cup of tea. But I can guarantee after this episode, I'll be having another cup of tea. So if you are having a cup of tea, let me know who is here with me today. Heidi is here. You're not having tea either. Oh my God, it's a first for both of us. Just hydrating today with good old water. Me too. Isn't that funny? That's funny. Great minds think alike, my friend. We are on the same exact page. Anita, how are you? I'm on water too, but we'll have a good vibes by Better Tea Company later this morning. What is good vibes? Share it with us, Anita. I would love to know. Ashley is doing a workout with me in her ear. I love it. Go, 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 Ashley. So proud of you. Holly Miles, having Mighty Leaf African Nectar. That is a nice one. We have not talked about Mighty Leaf Tea Company here before, but I love that company. When I'm traveling, I tend to look for their English breakfast. I love Mighty Leaf Tea Company's English breakfast morning tea. And then they also have, I think, like an apricot black tea. They have a flavored no, it's their vanilla bean. Vanilla bean black tea is one of my favorites. I don't buy it on the regular, interesting, but it's one that I always seek out when I'm traveling. I guess it's one of them that you can often find in, convenience stores and coffee places and stuff like that. But I absolutely love Mighty Leaf. They are great. And the African nectar is so wonderful. I just tend to love rooibos. My body loves rooibos. It feels so good to me. I don't drink it on the regular, even though I should be. I really love it. Okay, Hortensia is having matcha green tea latte with oat milk. I love it. Hortensia, share with us what matcha green tea matcha do you use? I'm really curious. I always love to learn from my community what your brands and your go-to tea favorites are, because a lot of times I end up finding my new favorites through you. So shout out to Lois for introducing me to the Harney and Sons lychee black tea, which I really enjoy. It's not my top favorite, but when I add a little bit of maple syrup to it, I really love it. And so over the years, I have discovered my favorites because of a lot of people in my community. So do share. Tracy is having Q Twist Calm Hot Cocoa. Calm Hot Cocoa. Need to look this up. That sounds amazing. Sugar-free. I need to look this up and know exactly what it is. And Amy, I just finished a cup of apple pie oolong tea with a bit of cinnamon roll protein powder added to it. This is interesting. Hold on, Amy. This is very interesting. Apple pie oolong tea with cinnamon roll protein powder in it. How much protein powder and what's it taste like? I'm not convinced this works. You need to share. Does this work? I'm curious. That's curious. I never thought to put protein powder in tea. Now, I've put protein powder in coffee or in like a bulletproof coffee, but because of the body and the texture of a tea, I never thought to add a protein powder to it. Amy, I love this idea. Please share if you would. And Carol, I'm having a cup of holy basil tea. Those of you guys that don't know, holy basil is also known as Tulsi tea. And it's a really wonderful, what they call tincture or tisane tea. It's an herbal tea that is what we refer to as an adaptogenic herb. And what that does is that helps your body deal with stress better. So I love it. I love that all my friends are here having tea. I'm living vicariously through you. Let's jump in. Today we are talking about my top nutrition tips to help you survive the holidays and navigate the holidays or any special celebration that you might be facing at any other time of year. These tips are helpful so that you can enjoy, you can indulge a bit, and stay on track with your goals so that you can wake up tomorrow feeling empowered, feeling ahead of the game, feeling on track towards your goals, and not necessarily feeling bad about your decisions or regretting it or just feeling yucky in your body. Now, I have a highly sensitive body. And so if I don't eat well, I pay for it the next day in not feeling well. I have so ingrained the tips that I'm going to share with you today that I'm able to indulge and I don't ever worry about gaining weight or gaining body fat. Because I know that if I stay on track with my habits 90% of the time, I can indulge and it won't change my body composition. Now, I will often not feel well the next day. So if I indulge in processed foods or low quality sweet treats or things like pizza or alcohol, I will not feel good the next day, but it doesn't really impact my body composition, my body fat, or the weight on the scale. And it's because of these habits. And so the truth is, you really don't have to be strict. I'm going to teach these to you so that you can use them, because I want you to wake up tomorrow or on January 1st or the day after a big event and just get right back on the horse, feel good, not feel bad about your decisions, and just roll with the punches and get back on track towards your good habits. It's all about fully adopting and integrating habits, lifestyle choices that are a part of who you are, truly who you are. Because once these things just become a part of how you operate, it's a whole lot easier to indulge a bit, but then get right back on track the next day. And I really encourage you, regardless of where you are in your journey at this moment, I encourage you to look at your day and look at your habits and say, what is something I could add that just serves as a habit that I could build into a habit? What's one thing? Ask yourself right now, for real. What is one thing you could adopt today or tomorrow that would be a positive habit to move you forward, but it would be easy to repeat tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow? Is it a little bit more water? Is it refining and improving your 4 o'clock snack? Is it adding a little more protein to your breakfast? Is it adding more fiber to your diet on a regular basis? What is something that you could just really adopt that's a non-negotiable? That's non-negotiable. You know what's non-negotiable for me that has the biggest impact of all? Every single day, by automatic default way of being, I automatically am always aware of the amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates that I eat. Always, every single day. And I promise you, it's how I'm able to maintain, I believe, a very beautiful physique. I don't say that in a bragging way. I'm so proud of my beautiful body, not from an aesthetics perspective, but because of what it has done for me. I have a highly functional, fit, lean body, and it's because of this habit. I know this is the biggest reason. Nutrition, on the nutrition side of things, because strength training and nutrition are what have crafted the body that I have today. 100%. 100%. But today we're talking about nutrition. So, in the realm under the umbrella of nutrition and habits of mine, I can tell you right now the thing that has the most impact in maintaining a lean, fit, strong body that's the size I'm happy with is automatically defaulting to being aware of how much protein, fat, and carbohydrates I eat each day. I am chronically and consistently aware of eating certain foods so that at the end of the day, I have somewhere between 40 and 50% of my daily calories coming from carbohydrates, almost always right around 50%. My body does better with about 50% of my daily calories coming from carbohydrates. And I just automatically, I'm always aware of it. If 3 o'clock rolls around and I don't feel well, I know it's because I either didn't have enough carbohydrates or I didn't have enough protein. Always, 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 always. And that is one of the best ways that you can really automatically just start to succeed by cultivating a habit. Now, I refer to this as eating so that you are balancing your macronutrients, learning to eat in a way that you are balancing your macronutrients is one of the best habits you can adopt, and it will take you even farther than you can imagine. Now, a little bit of foreshadowing, you're the first to know it. In January, I am going to be offering a brand new 3-day live video training series. And I'm going to teach you how to learn to eat as per the process that I know works for the thousands of women that I have coached over the past 30 years. So in January, we're going to be kicking off with an incredible training series. You definitely want to be there. Make sure that you are on my email update list. Just come over to hollyperkins.com and sign up to receive my email updates, or come to hollyperkins.com/macros, and you can sign up to receive my free premium 14-page guidebook on how to balance your macronutrients. And that's going to put you on my email list. You'll be the first to learn about my new live video training series that's going to happen in January. And I'm going to reveal to you exactly how I eat and exactly how I teach my clients to eat so that they can feel better, reduce hunger, eliminate cravings, and train their body to effortlessly release body fat by burning body fat 24/7. So that you don't have to white knuckle your way through nutrition. So stay tuned for that. But one of the very best nutrition tips and habits that you can incorporate is to learn to eat very intentionally. Intentionally choose the foods that you want to eat each day. And it's the best way. It's the fast track. It is the Autobahn to the body that you want. So let me jump into a couple of very specific tips for nutrition tips to help you navigate the holidays so that you can succeed, so that you can arrive on January 1st feeling awesome. Number one, do not show up to an event hungry. Do not show up to a dinner party. Do not show up to a fancy dinner at a restaurant. Do not show up to a wedding or a holiday celebration hungry. It is problem left and right. And while it might seem kind of counter to not show up hungry to an event that revolves around food, you are going to enjoy yourself, feel better, and be far more successful if you do not show up hungry. If you're hungry, you will automatically eat more calories. Research has proven this. And you will also tend to desire and want those foods that are higher in calories, higher in sugar, higher in fat. You're naturally going to want to eat those foods more because there's going to be a biological drive to quell that hunger. And it's outside of your discipline. You don't need to rely on discipline to get you through this. There's no badge of honor. There's no prize for the person who has the most self-discipline. In fact, I think that's a losing battle. You don't want to rely on your discipline and your determination to get you through a holiday meal. You want to rely on your biology. So number one, do not show up hungry. That means you've got to have a meal 2 to 3 hours prior to your event or a snack 30 to 60 minutes before you arrive at your event or before the time you think you're going to have your next meal. Okay. So make sure that you're very conscientious about having some form of a meal or snack before you show up to the event, especially if there's food involved, whether that's a holiday celebration or a party or a wedding or an anniversary, whatever it may be, even if it's just a special dinner out. Don't show up hungry. Have a snack beforehand. That is one of the best ways that even if you don't realize, even if you're not sure if you're going to be hungry, make sure you just plan to have a snack. I always have a snack when I'm going into an event where I know there's going to be food. Even if I'm not hungry, I put a snack in my body so that when I show up to the event, I'm calm, I'm balanced, I'm present, I'm not distracted by food. I can make logical and rational decisions around the foods that I want to eat because I'm not starving. So tip number 2 is to have a snack before every event, even if the event is going out holiday shopping for the day. Have a snack before you go. Next, make sure that you are pairing protein and carbohydrates, either at your meal or snack before your event, or at the event or the dinner or the celebration. Make a point to identify ways to get protein and carbohydrates in. So when I go to an event, as I said, I never show up hungry. When I get there, I automatically scan and assess what the food situation is, whether it's at a restaurant or a dinner party or whatever. The first thing I'm doing is I'm investigating and I'm very nonchalantly looking around to be like, okay, where's my protein and what healthy carbs can I get in me, either as an hors d'oeuvre or at the meal or at the celebration? How and what are my options for number 1, protein first, and number 2, healthy carbohydrates? And then Of course, I'm going to allow some indulgences and some splurges, but once you get the foundation and once you get yourself stabilized with protein and carbohydrates, you're going to be better able to enjoy a little bit of dessert without opening the floodgates, without tempting yourself with a little taste of the sugar where it just lights you up and you can't stop eating it. I know that's a common concern for the women in my community and the women that I work with, especially those of you, if you are prone to really loving and enjoying sugar. Now, some of us have more of a sugar habit, if you will, than others. Some people tend to like salty foods, crunchy foods more. But if sugar is your thing, there's a common concern that if you start, you're not going to be able to stop. And I can promise you this, if you apply the tips that I'm talking about today, you're going to have so much more willpower because your biology will be stable and you're not going to open the floodgates of hunger or sugar desire if you follow these steps. And one of them that's most important is to make sure that you're pairing protein and carbohydrates as often as possible. Next, drink lots of water. Drink water before you go. If you're going to have alcohol, match your alcohol intake with water intake. And that could be sparkling water if you prefer, or flat water. But if you're going to have 1 glass of wine, have 1 glass of water before you have your second glass of wine. Another trick that I find is brilliant that really works. I don't know that I've ever shared this trick. This is one of my personal little tricks in the back of my mind. And I honestly don't know that I've ever shared this publicly. I have a little game that if I'm going to have a glass of wine, once that glass of wine is done, I have to have a glass of water. If I'm going to have a second glass of wine, I have to have a second glass of water. So therefore, 1 glass of wine, 1 glass of water. If I'm going to have that second glass of wine, I have the second glass of water before the second glass of wine. If I'm going to have a third glass of wine, which I don't ever do, but on that rare once a year occasion, maybe I'll have 3 cocktails. It almost never happens. I have to have 3 glasses of water before I can have that third cocktail or third alcoholic beverage. It's powerful and it works because generally by the time you get to that third glass of alcohol or glass of wine or cocktail, you're so full from all of the water and you're so hydrated, you're probably almost not even going to want your third glass. But it's a great way to also ward off the dehydration that you get from alcohol and also just start your body's detoxification pathways. So drink lots of water. Even if you are not having alcohol, make sure at these occasions you're drinking a lot of water. Number one, it will help to fill you up so that you won't have such a hunger for the foods, and that's going to help you keep in check overindulging. And if you didn't already know, sometimes hunger and food cravings are actually the mask of dehydration. So sometimes you're actually not hungry, you're just dehydrated. You need a bit more water, and that is going to help you avoid what I like to think of as inaccurate hunger, if you will. The next tip is to fill up on low calorie, high fiber foods like raw vegetables or potentially whole grain crackers alongside of the protein. So often at holiday gatherings or special events, there's some form of a crudité tray, raw vegetables, a salad, whatever it may be. Fill up on those foods that are low calorie, high volume, high fiber foods to really fill you up. Another secret tip of mine when I go to events is if I know I'm in the mood to enjoy some of the splurge-y foods, special event foods that, we only get around the holidays or special desserts that you see during special events like weddings or anniversaries, if I know that I'm going to indulge a bit, I will literally force feed myself raw broccoli, raw carrots, celery, cauliflower, any vegetables I can get my hands on, a big salad. I will force it in whether I want it or not, because I know that it's going to serve me. And so a lot of times people show up at special occasions and like, who wants to eat broccoli? They want, the bacon wrapped fig or whatever it may be, right? Sure, you want those fun, indulgent foods. Have some. But the trade-off is you also give yourself some functional, supportive foods. High fiber, high volume, low calorie. Vegetables are your best friends here. And or if there are some really high quality, nice whole grain crackers, that could work as well. The next tip, there are two. This next tip is really so incredibly important, because if you have followed all of these tips so far, if you've already used some of these tips, what you're going to find is that the next one is a whole lot easier. And that is after an event where maybe you splurged a little more than you wanted to, or maybe you completely went overboard and way overindulged at an event. The next day, get back on track with your habits. Don't worry that you're going to ruin your progress, because you won't. Overindulging today does not ruin your progress. What ruins your progress is if you continue that trend for a period of time. So if you splurge, you indulge at an event on Saturday night, but then Sunday you get right back onto your healthy eating habits, you don't have to worry about that Saturday night. The problem is when Sunday you continue the trend, and then Monday you're having a hard time getting back on track, so you order fast food. And then Tuesday you're really frustrated with yourself because you said you'd get back on track and you didn't. And so now you're craving some of those foods. And so then you just allow yourself one more day of splurging. That's when it starts to become trouble. It's not what you do once that impacts your body. It's what you do on a regular basis that impacts your body. So the next tip is the day after an event where you have had some foods or maybe splurged a little bit, let it go. Don't even worry about guilt or remorse or feeling bad about your choices. Get back on that horse and start riding at your normal pace. Get back onto your healthy habits. Just pick up where you left off and go. It will be a blip. It will not impact your waistline. It will not impact your workouts, and it certainly will not cause weight gain if you just pick up and go the next day. And the last tip today that is similar, but it's also equally important. And this is a bit nuanced as compared to the last tip, but it is its own tip, that if you do overindulge a little, the next day, don't feel that you need to make up for or you need to burn off the overindulgence from the day before. It's really pretty rational thinking to think, okay, last night I went to a wedding and I drank way too much and I didn't think I was going to have that second piece of wedding cake, but I did. Oh gosh. And I had a lot of cheese and I had pasta carbonara. Oh my gosh, I feel terrible today. I ate so much. It's pretty logical to think that a smart strategy would be the next day to correct by exercising it off and eating less food for the next few days, right? So lightening up on your food budget to account for the overindulgence the day before. It makes a lot of sense. And sometimes with my private coaching clients, I can coach them through a slight correction but it really does have to be done strategically and mathematically. And what most people do is they're like, ugh, I overindulge. So I'm going to fast until noon tomorrow, and I'm going to do a double long workout. And then I'm going to eat perfectly clean for the rest of the day for 3 days. And that's going to offset what I did Saturday night. It's really not a very effective strategy unless you are practiced at this strategy and you know how to do it. It could work, but it really is a skill that you have to cultivate and that you have to be good at. I could do it if I had to, but I personally just find it's really not worth it. It's too painful, and it usually does backfire in one way, form, or another. So the final tip today is that if you do overindulge at an event or a celebration, don't feel that you need to make up for it or burn off that overindulgence in the days following. Just get back on track. Like that previous tip that I just gave you, just get right back onto your habits and clean it up a little. Clean it up for a few days, but don't try to burn off the extra calories that you ate in the day before, because the truth is you really cannot run off or run away from a bad diet. You can't exercise off a bad diet, or you can't burn off an overindulgence. You kind of can't. It doesn't work that way. It should work that way, but it really doesn't. It's not an equal like for like change for the most part. If you are sophisticated, if you're very skilled and very practiced, we can do it this way. And sometimes with my clients, I do, but I don't have them way overcompensate the next day. We'll compensate a little, maybe by cutting back on the calories a little and making those calories very clean and optimized. But most of the time, it's not going to serve you to feel that the next day you need to just completely correct from the overindulgences of the day before. Is this helpful? Talk to me. What are your questions and comments? Who is here with me today? Please say hello if you haven't already. Okay, so Amy shares, it was good. I added about a half a scoop, which should have been about 10 grams of protein with the particular protein powder I used. I blended it with a little battery operated milk frother and it worked well. Okay, so Amy is sharing how she added a little bit of protein powder to her oolong tea, which I think is a brilliant idea. And so I might have to try that. Thank you for that suggestion. It's a great idea if you can make it taste good and work. And I think it probably does very much depend on the protein powder that you're using. I love that you did that. That's an awesome way to get in some extra protein. Good for you. Hollis, I just received your book from Amazon. It's going to be my new fitness Bible. I love it. And that's exactly what I intended. When I wrote Live to Get Lean, my mission was to write the strength training Bible for women. That was my goal. And I think I did a pretty good job of it. I was really proud with it. I still get so many emails and messages from women around the world who are picking up my book. So Hollis, I hope you love it. So glad you got your hands on it, and definitely let me know if you have any questions. Rona is here. Hello, Patrina. So glad that you are here. Patrina is having hibiscus tea. So good for you. Let's see here. Patrina, I usually have a sip of whatever I'm drinking and then a sip of water, alternating. That's also a great strategy. So if you're at an event and you're having a glass of wine, keep yourself a glass of water nearby and go sip for sip. I've not been successful with that strategy, even though I think it's a brilliant strategy. I think I tend to be a one glass kind of girl in my hand, and I love that alcoholic drink, whatever it may be. Haven't had wine in a very long time. But I do love a cocktail. And so I have to be super, super conscious of how I ingest alcohol because it just really is not great for me. And so generally I'll have that cocktail and then I will fill up on water. I rarely have a second cocktail these days, but if I do, I will have that second glass of water before the next cocktail. But I love this idea of also doing one and one. And if that works for you, have at it because it's a brilliant strategy. I love it. Hollis, if you drink 2 glasses of wine and 2 glasses of water, you'll spend the rest of the evening waiting online in the bathroom. That is probably true. My idea of a party blowout is 2 glasses of ginger ale. I love it. That's hilarious. That's genius, right? I mean, that is true. You might, but it's also like you are going to have to visit the bathroom more frequently. But there is something to be said for the fact that alcohol is a bit dehydrating. And so one glass of alcohol to one glass of water probably is going to net out almost a little bit. And I would actually argue, even if it does mean that you're having to run to the bathroom, you'll burn off some extra calories having to run to the bathroom, and you'll probably meet some new friends in the line of the bathroom, but it's also going to keep you from eating and drinking more. So I tend to look at these things as like a smart strategy. It's like, oh, well, yeah, well, that means I'm moving more, I'm meeting more people, and I'll be less inclined to eat more if I'm going to the bathroom back and forth, right? So anyway, I hear you on that. Rona, very helpful. Patrina, agree with having a cocktail rather than wine. Wine gives me a headache. Luckily, I'm fine with one cocktail along with my alternating water. Me too. So I love wine. I love red wine. I love white wine. I think it would be my top number one choice of alcohol, but it makes me feel bad, so bad the next day. So I have pretty much given it up. I don't even remember. Actually, I do remember the last, I do remember. You want to know the last time I had a glass of wine? Get this. 2 years ago on my birthday, I had a glass of red wine. 2 years ago was the last time I had a glass of wine. Isn't that crazy? And it was on my birthday. And this year on my birthday, next week, I might have one as well because I love it so much, but it just makes me feel so bad, no matter what kind of wine it is. And so therefore, I turned to beer. I love beer, but beer is now kind of starting to make me feel not so great. So I actually have a new cocktail idea for you guys that I'll share with you. I haven't made it yet, but I just discovered it about a week ago, and it's actually a great idea for a cocktail. Now, it's a little challenging if you're out at an event, but I intend to make this when I have a cocktail at home. So there is a electrolyte drink mix that I really like. And there's a variety of them out there. So the one that I like is sugar-free, no artificial sweeteners, no calories. It's a very high quality, beautiful electrolyte powder that you mix into water. I use it after big workouts, after I do a sauna. Every time I do an infrared sauna session 2 to 3 times per week. And when I do that, I always have an electrolyte drink afterwards. For those of you guys that are also using infrared saunas, it's really smart to do an electrolyte drink afterwards. And so I have this electrolyte drink that I love. It's delicious. I have watermelon flavor and I have raspberry flavor, and I'm going to order a blue raspberry. And I love it. So last week I was, after my sauna, having my electrolyte beverage, and I was like, you know what? This would go amazing with tequila, vodka, or rum. So my next new cocktail is going to be to mix up my electrolyte powder and then just throw in a shot of tequila or vodka. I'm not a rum drinker. I don't think gin would taste very good in this. So probably tequila or vodka because I feel pretty good on it. And that's going to be my new cocktail. Probably I'll do that in the summertime. In the summer, I tend to do gin and tonics, but I might try this. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea because then you're getting all of the electrolytes in it and it's hydrating. It's going to be very low calorie because it will only be a white distilled liquor. And I tend to feel okay when I drink tequila. I tend to feel fabulous after having tequila, you guys. Can you believe it? Tequila, I feel awesome. Awesome. Fine the day after tequila. You'd think I drink it more. But partially why I don't drink it more is because I don't like to drink it straight and I don't want to mix it into a margarita because I feel terrible. So that is my new cocktail suggestion for you. Yes, it's definitely harder to do at an event away from your home, but get creative. See if there's something like that that you can come up with. Ashley, I love the idea of adopting that glass of water after eating a portion of something in the dessert sugar category. Exactly. Right. So you could do the same thing with sugar or any kind of food that you love. If you love cheese, enjoy the cheese. drink a glass of water before you eat more. You love dessert, have a couple bites of dessert. Make an agreement with yourself that I'm going to have 3 bites of dessert and then I have to have a glass of water. If I want 3 more bites of dessert, I've got to have 2 glasses of water. It's a great way to budget so you can enjoy your dessert, or you can enjoy your foods, or you can enjoy your alcohol, but you're also taking care of yourself and you're setting yourself up for success. So this isn't about deprivation. This isn't about like you have to earn your dessert. It's enjoy your alcohol and your dessert, but also set yourself up so that you don't feel terrible the next day. You can have both and they can exist together. Ashley, I love that idea. Brilliant. Patrina, interesting new cocktail idea. Let us know how it is. I will. I don't know when it would happen. No, yes, I do know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen next week because I'm taking myself on a little vacation for my 50th birthday. I'm headed to Florida on Thursday of this week for 9 days with my 2 best friends. I am so excited. I'm going to take my drink mix. I'm going to buy me some tequila and I'm going to have this cocktail on the beach. I will let you guys know how it is. I'm so glad someone just mentioned that. It's going to be so fun and I'll let you know how I feel. Perfect reason to do it. Stay tuned. On that note, there will be no Hot Tea with Holly next Tuesday, December 14th, because it is my birthday. But I will return December 21st, 28th, and then we will be into January. So I'm just going to take 1 week off. It's a very special birthday. I'm turning 50 and I really want to celebrate bigger than ever. And I am just really incorporating some things that I wouldn't normally do. And you guys know I rarely take off for Hot Tea with Holly, but I am going to do it for my birthday. So there's that. Carol is asking, what is the name of the electrolyte powder you use? It is called Ultima Replenisher. Ultima Replenisher. Ultima Replenisher. It is a wonderful, wonderful powder. You can buy it at health food stores. You could buy it at Whole Foods. I order it off Amazon. It is a bit pricey, but the reason is you use the tiniest little bit in 16 ounces of water. So I have this itty bitty little teeny tiny container and it's lasted me months. So do know it's a little expensive, but that's because it is such a high quality, beautiful product. You guys, I have to go. I can't believe how late the day is. I have a podcast interview in 4 minutes and I lost track of time. That is it for today. I'm so glad that you are here. Come on over to hollyperkins.com/macros to share your email address and get access to a 14-page, totally free, downloadable guide on eating in a way that balances your macronutrients so that you can feel better, reduce hunger, reduce cravings, and get lean. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Happy holidays.